Well, in the stand watching the Merthyr game was former Telford striker Tim Langford, now at Wycombe Wanderers. In a moment we'll travel south for a festival of the best non-league football that I've seen for some time. And certainly we'll literally go up with Wycombe Wanderers. There's lots more to come. Adams Park, home of conference champions-elect Wycombe Wanderers. Manager Martin O'Neill discusses the merits of Tim Langford's sign from Telford United.
Dark old days about 5 years ago, I actually put a 7-day notice in for Tim Langford, and I think his very words were, "Well, wonder why he's doing that, because I'm playing so badly." I'd seen, and he was playing for Dudley at the time. I've had an eye in Tim's career for some time. He was very quick. He does a lot of instinctive things. He does a lot of things badly in a game, like anything else. But he does an awful lot of good things, and I think he frightens the life out of defenders when he's in decent form. He's come here, he's been apprehensive about it, he's been very worried. The day I talked to him, he and his wife, about coming down to the football club, he was so nervous, it was untrue. He signed up, and I just said, go on and enjoy it. Well, funnily enough, he's created about 15 chances for himself, and he's missed a lot of them. It's really good now, Tim, and
Wycombe had wobbled a bit at the top of the conference, and the return match at Wrexham Park against Slough was the chance to consolidate the lead. Ironically, Langford's last goal for Telford was against Slough prior to Christmas. Well, words can't describe the heady atmosphere for this local derby, as the Wycombe fans anticipated a halt to Slough Town's hopes of the championship. Just 7 points separated the two pace-setters prior to this encounter. Plenty of volunteers for overtime, a cushy time to be had by the police, but there was never a more relaxed mood in the crowd. Both sets of fans were a tribute to the occasion. If Tim Langford was going to break his duck and score his first goal for Wycombe, then our cameras weren't going to miss it. We followed his every move. Close, Tim. Hey up, jockey. Langford heading for goal. What did Martin O'Neill say? Scare the living daylights out of defenders. The match was 0-0 at half-time. 4,500 spectators packed into Wrexham Park and got their money's worth as both teams put up a thrilling display. With his Wycombe teammates setting up chances for the ex-Telford favourite, as well as Langford turning his markers time and again, surely he must score. Martin O'Neill must have had the same feeling. In the background, Paul High clears downfield. There's a flick on. Langford turns, races to the angle, shoots. The ball's deflected. The pictures tell the story. At last, Tim Langford opens his scoring for Wycombe. Slough would have spoiled the party and later they equalised, but Wycombe almost stole the 3 points. They did enough to keep on target for the championship. Certainly the result put paid to Slough Town's dreams of the championship. We're off to the non-league international in a minute, but first let's get Tim Langford's reaction to the Wexham Park encounter. Well, Timmy, you waited to score for Wycombe. You managed it spectacularly.
Yeah, obviously it's a big weight off my shoulders to score. Obviously with it being a local derby, a bit more special. It's been a long time coming. I've had the chances. Obviously the first one's important to start that coming a bit more freely now.
Now the atmosphere at Slough was incredible.
Yeah, it's something again that I haven't experienced before. Probably at Wycombe it was a bit better, but obviously the supporters at Wycombe are unbelievable. Obviously with the success it brings them out, but you know, tremendous all round.
Team Talk, Britain's oldest and most prestigious non-league football magazine. Football in England, in Scotland, in Wales. It's all there in Team Talk.
Wycombe Wanderers. Do you mean for tonight's game against Runcorn? No, I'm sorry, we've completely sold out of family stand and for Saturday's game against Altrincham. No, I'm sorry, we don't have any information available yet about Wembley, but we will have on Saturday. So if you'd like to contact us then, full information regarding ticket sales will be available. All right, thanks very much. Bye-bye. For tonight's game against Runcorn? Yeah.
Thursday, April the 14th, 1993. A night that 7,500 Wycombe fans will remember for the rest of their lives. If a non-league side is to win promotion to the Football League proper, then let's do it in style. Wycombe Wanderers certainly did that. We'll show you how they did it in a moment. A victory roll over Adams Park. From one of the famous few, a Spitfire. It was certainly days of glory, wings of fire for Martin O'Neill's team, after losing out on promotion on goal difference to Colchester 11 months earlier. Runcorn's Ken McKenna discusses life with Wycombe skipper Glyn Greaser. The fans, friends and families anticipate. Will this be the night to savour? Only a fool would bet against Wycombe clinching the conference championship as the sun set over Buckinghamshire. The stage all set. At last it was time for action on the pitch. What followed will go down in memory as a very special night indeed for all concerned. The visitors, Runcorn, were one of the only teams to beat Wycombe in the season, and they certainly intended to play their part in this return conference match. Ken McKenna and the Wycombe fans certainly had a mildish sort of love-hate relationship, developed since a previous encounter. One of non-league's colourful characters in Ken, certainly a determined player. Wycombe's Simon Hutchinson set the result in motion, crashing a fierce shot into the far post. It rebounds. Keith Scott clumps on the rebound. Now for Scott's bit of... as he acknowledges the crowd and bows to the Wycombe Messiah, the manager, Martin O'Neill. Ken McKenna was in no mood for theatre. Runcorn knew the script of the Wycombe story. McKenna wanted a couple of lines and a goal. He equalised for the Cheshire side. Then Runcorn chuck it away. A poor clearance falls to Tim Langford. He finds Hutchinson, who made no mistake. The former School of Excellence graduate puts Wycombe back in front. Ken McKenna was furious and was intent on letting his teammates know. But the only thing hot in the Runcorn dressing room was the half-time cuppa. Just 45 minutes remain for the home side effectively to win not just the match but the Vauxhall Conference Championship. Runcorn kept potting away. Motivation, aggression, and yet you got the feeling there was a treat in store. You'd better believe it. Tim Langford took 2 attempts to score. Wycombe 3-1 ahead. Robertson's free kick is headed out by Anton Verkav. Steve Guppy, it's all yours. Here he goes again. This time squared to Simon Hutchinson. Goals to grace any stadium. How's that for style? What a way to win a championship. So let's join the celebrations. Special scenes at Adams Park on the night that Wycombe Wanderers clinched the Vauxhall Conference Championship, an achievement that had the club's chairman reflecting.
I think we knew that at some stage or other during the course of this week that we would arrive at a position where we were going to the Football League. So it's not been stressful. Saturday was more stressful than this evening. I don't think it would have mattered who had come here this evening to play against us. We were going out there tonight to win the league, and those fellas made that quite clear, I felt, right from the very beginning. The support since I've been involved, particularly involved from a board point of view, has grown from about 600 or 700. So it's grown enormously, really. And the growth has come through success. But the greatest pleasure that I've got from the growth of the crowds has been the number of families that have come here. And we now have an awful lot of families that come here with young children, and that to me is one of the success stories of Wycombe Wanderers, because the small fellow that's down here is tomorrow's supporter. I think the relationship that as a chairman and a manager that we've got together is something special, as I've said before. Both of us are not the easiest to get on with, but we seem to have put those two things together somewhere along the line, and we've had 3 years plus, and I think we've done exceptionally well. Martin's a very influential person in terms of getting the best out of players and looking for players and seeing the best in players and bringing the best out of players.
Brought Tim Langford down from Telford. His contribution in the short time he's been here has been quite a successful one.
Tim's been excellent, to be honest. It's very difficult to have a player to settle in a side that's very successful, and of course it's very difficult for a player to just come into a side and suddenly feel at home. But I think we've helped him feel at home. Well, I hope we have anyway. He's certainly been a success, there's no question about that. The goal that he scored at Slough on Tuesday evening, when we got a point over there, if he didn't do another thing this season, though, he's earned us a point over there. However, he scored again this evening, and I believe that Tim will certainly be an asset to us. We tried to sign him, you know, earlier in the season, and the chairman thought that he'd got a bucket of gold in Tim Langford, and so we had to walk away from it at that time.
Well,
however, the gold changed to silver later on in the season, so we were able to do something about it.
Martin, what a way to win the league.
Yeah, great. Absolutely delighted with it. And while winning the game at this stage of the season was very important, I think the style of it tonight was terrific. The last couple of goals, I think people etched in people's memory. That's the lovely thing about it. It'll be etched in my memory forever anyway, Stevie Guppy's goal.
That was an incredible run.
Yes, it was. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm hoping that the crowd will come back for a bit more on Saturday.
Wycombe were to lose that game on that Saturday to Altrincham by 2-0. Unfortunately for Telford United, they too lost at their match at Kidderminster Harriers. A goal scored by James Mulligan early in the second half wasn't enough, and the Harriers won by 2-1. Once again, we'll be going up with Wycombe Wanderers. It's a trip to Gateshead and the International Stadium.
Attention town morning, this is Air Ferries 576, stand 30 with information Charlie. Of the Wycombe Wanderers, they're on the way to the Football League, and we'd like to start please, Newcastle.
Stansted Airport, Sunday, April the 18th, 1993. The Wycombe side were well beaten the previous afternoon by Altrincham. No excuses, but the plain fact of life for Martin O'Neill's players, where they were literally cream-crackered. This rearranged match at Gateshead would be their 5th and 8th days. O'Neill, though, did have a slightly larger number of players to call on than most Peruvian managers, but nonetheless it was asking a lot for players who at this stage were still part-timers and had their proper jobs to do as well. Tim Langford, for example, worked as a postman, whilst Andy Kerr, who would return from suspension for the North East game, was adaptable and did, well, from time to time, some acting.
Station town morning, this is Air Ferries 576, stand 30 with information Charlie. Of the Wycombe Wanderers, they're on the way to the Football League, and we'd like to start please, Newcastle.
Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up.
The paraffin budgie, in this case a BAC 111, flew the team and some supporters up to Gateshead, whilst many more travelled up by road. The game at the International Stadium was far from a classic, but Wycombe did return to winning ways. In fact, Steve Thompson was to fly further than the rest of their teammates and netted on the hour. Gateshead 0, Wycombe Wanderers 1. 2 days later in the drill field at Northwich for the first leg of the Drinkwise Cup final. Veteran striker Trevor Aylott was drafted into the side after a number of Wycombe players were rested. The Northwich Vicks keeper Tony Bullock denied the visitors scoring 0-0 the result.
Come on, mate, Kevin. Shake your hands, come on. Kevin,
April 24th, 1993, in the long-awaited encounter with the newly crowned conference champions, Wycombe Wanderers. It was a special day for these youngsters as joint mascot to Jerry Daly's side. Wycombe director Alan Parry was asked to commentate on this game, but he was unable to attend. So here's Fred Eyre.
No, every club I played for was in financial difficulty, otherwise they wouldn't have signed me on a free transfer every time.
Well done, Fred Eyre. How many clubs did you have?
Only 20.
How many times do you substitute?
Every time.
You know, you substitute today, you know that, don't you?
Oh, well, that one doesn't surprise me. I knew I wouldn't be the first choice.
Skipper for the day at Telford, the centre-half Nigel Niblett, who's just back from quite a long layoff, a knee injury sustained at Boston United the night that Telford United got put out of this season's FA Trophy. Fred, looking at the players lining up, I mean, what sort of prospects of the game, what have we got to look forward to?
Well, obviously, as I say, with everybody playing, certainly on the Wycombe side, with so much confidence, we can look forward to quite a feast of football, and it shows the depth of talent they've got at the club, that they can leave a player like Keith Scott, who's the main striker really at the club, who's averaged a goal every 2 games since he's been here. He's been relegated to the substitutes bench today for some reason. Maybe it's just resting him.
Throw-in been taken then by Dave Pritchard to Peter McBean. Michael Moore put off there by his opposite number here in, that's Harkon. Stuart Bowen. It'd be difficult to choose. Now Tim Langford on the ball for Wycombe now, but Stuart Bowen managed to shield the ball. And free kicked. Marcus Bignett to judge to have been fouled. Probably the best crowd of the season for Telford this particular day. No guesses at this stage, but certainly about 1,500, I should think, which is not bad for the Bucks Head. A lot of the Wycombe fans travelled up, as they've been doing all season long.
Yeah, we all love to support a winning side, don't we?
I noticed the stand, the big new stand at Telford, virtually full. Back to the action then. Sean Francis pushed the ball over to Michael Moore, who's in space, and Telford go ahead. Michael Moore takes a shot, looks as though he got a deflection, and we've got 6 minutes into the game. Telford taking the lead against the Vauxhall Conference champions, Wycombe Wanderers.
Yeah, well, actually, that was the first real bit of football that was played. A lovely 1-2 on the edge of the box there, but from Sean Francis, and a good clinical finish. What a good start to the game.
Well, he'll be pleased as punch with that. He's shown promise early on. He went off a little bit, but he'll love that. Roy McFarland allowed him to go from Derby. Derby, I was surprised to learn, 42 full-time professionals.
Amazing these days. That used to be like it was in the old days, when the maximum wage was £20 a week. That was when they could afford 42.
That's when you played, was it?
Yeah, those were the days.
And on the ball for Telford. Well, it's a dream start for Telford. Let's look at that again. Ball laid out far to the right by Sean Francis. Michael Moore checked his run, took a shot. It appeared to have taken a deflection, and it was in the net. Telford still keeping up the pressure, and there's a corner forced. Young Michael Moore then going across to take it. Well, Telford are good at set pieces. Nigel Niblett usually comes in from the outlying area and usually gets in powerful headers, so Wycombe will have no doubt gathered on that. Let's see what happens. Michael Moore then with the corner kick for Telford. High into the area. Andy Lee, the one that went in, but Andy Kerr getting in the way. Oh, Telford in space here, and Marcus Bignett has scored. This is a dream start. A dream start. Marcus Bignett putting Telford 2 up in 9 minutes now. Fred Eyre, that's incredible.
Well, we've got a right game in our hands now. It was knocked back into the box a little bit, hopefully, but the Wycombe defence were just simply too slow coming out, and the two players, they were queuing up to knock it in. So two down after, what, 9 minutes?
Well, 9 minutes on the clock, and really Marcus Bignett, as I said earlier, the only ever present in the Vauxhall Conference for Telford this season, and he's really a bucket of gold is that one. Sean Parrish then, a tussle here on the ball. Oh, certainly got the hackles up of Telford. McBean then shields the ball, lays it back to Nigel Niblett, who pushes it away, but Sean Parrish judged offside. A laddie that loves his football, brought up in Chirk, Oswestry, you know the area. He was the young player of the year with the youth club at Oswestry for many seasons, and yet another problem with the ball. Martin O'Neill has just cheered, clapped, and I think the referee's going to have a few words with him, but I don't think that's nasty. But that's really referee Mr. Hilditch of Stoke-on-Trent taking umbrage to Martin O'Neill's gesticulations, which seemed harmless. Sean Parrish races in, but really if that had been a little bit of caution with the kick down or the clearance by Dave Pritchard, that could have put Parrish in space.
I don't really know what Martin was complaining about there. Was there a problem with the ball? Was it a Chester City ball? Was it going down?
Or a Boston United ball? Ty Good and Tim Langford, but Andy Lee certainly marking him, making sure that Mr. Langford, in this early stage anyway, doesn't get on the score sheet for his new club. And good play there too. And there's Langford, and he scores! That's really a good goal. We're just saying that Andy Lee, but that's Tim Langford for you. Gets away from his marker, and what a good layoff. He'd love that one.
Natural goal scorer, you see. Good work on the left from Ty Gooden, but really when the ball came in, there wasn't really a chance on. He made half a yard of space for himself, turned, snapped it in. Goal scorer, born and bred.
Player down over on the far side, looks like Dave Pritchard with a bit of a knock. I didn't quite see what happened there, but Dave's only just come back from injury, came back for Telford and returned to the side. And that 2-1 defeat at Kidderminster. Had a problem with his ankle a couple of times this season.
He looks as though he's in a bit of distress. Let's hope it's not a recurrence of the old job. But to go back to the goal, I mean, that's really put them back in it now. I mean, another 10-15 minutes still at 2-0, and you couldn't really have fancied Wycombe's chances. But that's the beauty of having a natural goal scorer in the side. One flash, and then the whole team's back in the game.
Good then for Wycombe Wanderers. Andy Lee in attendance. Martin Myers retreated for Telford to Sean Parrish, lays it wide on the right. Marcus Bignett battling away. Ty Gooden with the ball. In fact, I think the advantage rule would have been to Wycombe's advantage there, Fred Eyre.
Yeah, he was obviously, I think he was going to get a strike on goal, but these days the free kicks from that area can prove so decisive that I don't think there'll be that much lost. Be interesting to see what they can cook up here.
Well, we've got 2 men on the ball. We've got
Dave Carroll.
Dave Carroll's one of them, yeah. And he's going to have a crack. He's leaving it. Lays it wide. Chip. An open goal here. Couldn't miss. He couldn't miss. What are Telford's defence doing at 6s and 7s?
Same goal as the John Sheridan one for John Harkes in the cup final last Saturday. Identical free kick. And they've obviously learnt something by watching the Premier League sides. That is the identical free kick, and it's worked exactly the same.
Well, Simon Hutchinson, no stranger to scoring for Wycombe. And I don't think he's going to have an easier goal than that. I mean, certainly Telford ball watching. So, we've got a game on. We've got 26 minutes gone. Telford United 2, Wycombe Wanderers 2. Actually, all things considered, there's been a variety of goals.
Yeah, and obviously Wycombe will be glad on this occasion that the referee didn't apply the advantage rule. It works in their favour this time. But yeah, the goals have all been well taken. As I say, the last one was a tap-in, but the overall move was beautiful.
34 minutes gone then. Telford United 2, Wycombe Wanderers 2. Going back to that incident, Fred, Martin O'Neill. I mean, Martin was saying earlier he's only just come back from a disciplinary hearing for saying one or two things to a referee. But Martin's a very passionate man.
He is really, but he's also a very, very intelligent man. And really, I would think that he should be learning really to keep his comments more constrained to the bench, really.
Simon Hutchinson in space now, takes a shot, only parried by Darren Acton. Tim Langford put it in the back of the net. And really, Langford there, on hand, picking up the pieces, the second ball. Jerry Daly always telling his players to look for the second ball. Obviously, it's stuck in Tim Langford's memory because he was there, couldn't have got any lower.
Yeah, quick reactions, you see. Again, the reactions of a natural goal scorer. First to the second ball, and it was only a yard out, but that's all it counts. You've got to get there first.
What do you think Jerry Daly is thinking, Fred?
Well, he must be wondering what else he can do. I mean, you've got off to a dream start, put yourself 2 goals up into the driving seat, and really you've got to expect players of this calibre, even though they're playing against a side like Wycombe, to manage to hold on or even build on a 2-goal lead. But I mean, it's a great game for football. It's a great day for football. I'm really enjoying it. It's smashing.
Moore chips it through to McBean, who backheads it. Martin Myers coming through, but Jason Cousins there, tidying up, heading back to Paul Hyde. Certainly from Talbot's point of view, McBean putting a bit more about than he has done in this last few weeks. He's yet to score for Telford, but he's averaged about 20-odd goals a season in the Beezer Homes League for this last few seasons, so a proven goal scorer, but taking the step from the Beezer Leagues in the pyramid line up to the conference has not come easy for Peter McBean. Fred, in your day, you were in and out of league to non-league. Never an easy transition.
No, not even for good players, so it certainly wasn't easy for me. But it's
a player, Telford. The ball with Pritchard then to Parrish. Back to Bowen, who didn't read the ball quite as good as Parrish. And what have we got here? I don't think that was intentional, actually, Fred.
No, it was so late, it almost missed the game.
Well, Stuart Bowen then going off for Telford United. Young Chris Hodgin now on. The unorthodox way of trapping by McBean, but it worked. Oh, and a good ball put in. Excellent ball. Now Moore with a chance for Telford. Francis Oney's put it over the bar.
Let's move of the game, and the crossfield ball will obviously help Hodgin to settle down nicely. That'll boost his confidence. Nice ball in. I thought, to be honest with you, he hadn't whipped it in with enough pace on, but it got there, and the least said about the finish, the better. Sean Francis will be very, very disappointed with that.
Well, yes, Sean. Wycombe Wanderers then and Tim Langford return to the Buckshead. Jerry Daly's team losing the game 3-2. Our thanks to Fred Eyre. Incidentally, he has 2 books on release. They're Kicked Into Touch and Taking the Mic. Don't forget the competition to win a signed copy of his hilarious book, Kicked Into Touch.